SysComs was established in the year 1995 by the South Indian Education Society. It is one of the oldest educational trusts in Mumbai. SysComs has today emerged as one of the leading business technologies schools or the landscape of management education in India. Located at a sprawling campus in Nerul, the educational hub of Navi Mumbai, the academic ambience of the institute is one of the best in the country.
When students succeed in any course, when they stay on task and make the breakthrough that turns confusion into confidence, they are empowered to realize the possibilities for greatness that lie within each of them. We know our goal is to create an environment where students reach their full potential and experience the exhilarating academic success that will last them a lifetime.
ITELECT, for which we have gathered here today, is the annual event for technical students and emphasis on interaction between students and the corporate world. ITELECT is intended for professionals who are involved in designing, implementing and managing parts or the entire infrastructure of an IT environment. While the structure and composition of infrastructure groups may vary, ITELECT prepares you for anything from a small to a large size IT industry. It provides a base to have interaction between the students and the IT professionals in the form of seminars and various other platforms. It is also a way for students to exhibit their organizational skills, which are important in today's competitive world.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
This is good. Okay. I'm very thankful for SIS for calling us out here and giving us an opportunity to interact with you guys, because we know it is actually you people who are going to the future. And why it is very important. Because few years ago also, when I was going through the college and I was undergoing training, I did a lot of perspectives, I understood various geographies and all, and I understood there is a lot of scope in India. Okay, so I'm just reversing back myself 10 years ago, when I was collaborating intensely with IITs and IIMs, and then it so happened I graduated from one of those institutes. But the major driving factor for me out there was actually to do with what we can do best in India, and I realized it long ago. But I was not alone out there, because I realized there are a lot of guys like me who actually joined those premier institutes. They chose to stay back in India, and these are actually the people who are actually driving a lot of new things, especially in entrepreneurship, especially in technology. And when we talk about technology, technology is not standalone, right? Because a lot of challenges, and one of the important aspect and manifestation of it is actually green technology, so as to say. So it's a complete privilege to talking here, and this morning also I was talking to Raj Gopalan, and I got a lot of good insights while I was interacting with few of your professors out here. So it was indeed very good. So what we did, here, we are the three teams, and we manage business analyst community in Capgemini. I'll not talk more about the corporate life, but I'll tell you we are working on few of the niche, very important, and what is happening latest in the industry. And there are few latest things happening in the industry, like business analysis, usability, analytics. I'm sure you people might have heard about analytics, like big data, cloud computing. So what we have done, I have done here is actually I have bring in the three head verticals of those divisions. I am heading one of those analytics division. Then we have Divya for usability. We have Shailendra, my colleague. Okay, so these are the people I have brought in here, because I knew these are the people can give you more of the insights what is happening in the technology side, which is more important for you at the platform you are sitting right across the table. Because we were at some point of time sitting across the table and not on the dial. So not taking more time, I will start with one of the important. It would be more of a two-way communication out here. So few of the questions I will be taking, then Shailendra will be accompanying me because he has got a rich experience, and it is Divya who might also take over the questions. All right. So coming on the green technology, right? So what is big about green technology? You people might have heard about a lot of green initiatives happening, a lot of technology initiatives also happening out there, right? So a lot of things have happened. Earlier we had COBOL, then we had Java, okay, then we got ACP2, okay. So what is the problem? We were going too fast. There was industrial revolution, right? So there are a lot of good automobiles.
Okay, so think and communicate. You will get new inputs. Why can't we do like that? Why can't we do like this? So you will get new ideas and new avenues. So always think about it. Okay, and think of where the end problem in today's pipeline is to reach to your actual customer. If you have a B2C model, it's very easy today using social media. But if it is a B2B model, I'll tell you in SME segment, 80% of CEOs in SME are still not online. So it is a very difficult market. Think innovative ideas to reach them. Okay. And the most important part, don't calculate your ROI in the first year or the second. You will not get an ROI. Mind it. You have to calculate your ROI after 2 years. Don't do it in the first year and second year, you will get it wrong. Okay? And the most important part, at least find one customer or one user who will use your product, or who will think, okay, I can use it, or your friend who might use it. Okay? And don't leave the opportunity. If you think that it is implementable, never leave it for others. Do it yourself. Okay. Next slide. Okay. Those are somebody great, one of the great entrepreneurs in our history has written it. It's between hard work and smart work. I don't want anybody here working as hard as possible. You have to work smart, be smart. It's not that from morning 9 to evening 9, I open my accounts in your case. As an employee, sitting late will not help you. He has written an open letter, you can search it on the net. He has written it to each of his employee, Narayan Murthy. He has told them that if you sit late, the offices have to be open. Every resource does not come for free. So at least until and unless it is unavoidable, always make sure team of people who understand your capability, and don't look at lucrative salaries because you cannot pay them at first or second year stage. So you need to understand, take them with you, and when you are working in a team. Maybe it might be for your future, but this is most important, even for your team projects. Okay. Always have accountability. Okay, if you are given a task in a project, don't think that you can skip it. You will not get marks. So always have accountable. To promise what is, you will have to wait for it to come. Okay, so you have to be very patient. You have to tell them, you have to convince your client that they are with you and you are with them. Long-term relationship with the client, always.
Hi, I'll introduce myself. My name is Shailendra Kapoor. I'm Sunil's colleague. I've completed my management from IIM Lucknow, and I have over about 10 years industry experience. I look after the business analysis practice in Capgemini. So I'll pick up from where Sunil left off and speak about e-waste. You know, we hear about this term called e-waste, and what is actually e-waste? E-waste is anything that deals, E-waste is anything that deals with electronic equipment. So all your office electronic equipment, your entertainment devices, your iPads, your tabs, your phones, your printers, your laptops, anything specifically is e-waste. And the best part about e-waste is this particular thing has to be destined for reuse, resale, salvage, recycling or disposal. So we have so much of electronics that we change. Now technology is changing so fast. So earlier, 2 years back, nobody knew of Android. Now everybody has an Android phone. Nobody knew of the iPhone. Now everybody has an iPhone. So a lot of these things are coming up and a lot of things are changing continuously. What this is resulting into is a lot of us are basically having a lot of electronics that don't get used and we have to dispose them because there is no use for them anymore. And this generates e-waste. And this e-waste has to be recycled or reused because it has implications on the environment. It has implications on us because it is containing all kinds of materials that are basically harmful to the environment as well. Environmental impact of e-waste is, if it's like a TV, what happens? What do you do with it? And what kind of potential environment hazard it has? So the tube has to be broken down, and that gives you a lot of harmful chemicals. If you look at the printed circuit board, what kind of basically what do you need to do once you need to dispose of it? And once you dispose of it, what kind of environmental hazards you have? Similarly, when you look at chips and other gold-plated accessories, what you need to do when you're basically stripping them down and what it actually impacts the environment. And of course plastics, our phones are plastics, our keyboards are plastics, our laptops are plastic, our LCD TVs are plastic. So you can imagine what happens when you're shedding all of this and where it actually goes. The last part is computer wires. We need to be connected via wires or wireless, but when you're disposing of wires, you can actually see what happens to the wires. I'll discuss green computing. Now this is a very good concept. Green computing, it affects all of us. We use computers, we use computing. Our computing is restricted to our mobile devices, our phones, our laptops. It's there in every part of our being. It's also there now in TVs. Now you have a concept of called smart TVs. Our TVs are also very, very intelligent. And specifically, this is what green computing speaks about. Basically what it does, it aims at reducing the carbon or the materials that we use in our computing devices. Why do we need to do it? We need to reduce environmental problems. We need to basically look at how we can make a better impact on the environment, what we can do to ensure more sustainability to environment. And specifically, you must have heard of this term called cloud computing. I'll come to that. How cloud computing, material recycling, power management, visualization, telecommuting, all of this is there. And this important term called cloud computing, you guys are MCA students, so you guys know what cloud computing is all about. Power to take care of your needs. So your device is basically utilizing the power that is stored somewhere else and not within your device. That's what cloud computing is all about. So specifically, this is one of the main important things. Here, the concept you want to put, what happens specifically if you use green computing, which goes to cloud computing. How does green computing actually talk to cloud computing? Very simple. We have all portable devices. We have our phones, we have our tabs. All of these devices use lesser power, need to be charged once, and can use the power of computing. So specifically, an example is you're accessing your Facebook, information is available to you. So what you're doing is you're actually reducing emissions. You're using a device which saves power, which is made in a more green way, and you're harnessing the power of the cloud for your processing tasks. So that is available as well. Cloud computing can save you money and time, but can it save the planet? Yes, it can. What kind of things it can do? You have in-house data centers, you have cloud computing which allows you to make better data centers, better management of information. So specifically, all the information is stored in your data centers. Those data centers use better technology, more green technology for processing data, and you're using a device which is using less data, is giving less emissions, is saving electricity. So all of it is down the line translating into lot of green technology coming into place, a lot of less emissions, a lot of less load on the environment, and better and faster processing power to you. Think about data centers now. Data centers is a concept that has come out and now everybody uses them. Our mails are basically stored in data centers. Our LinkedIn information is stored in data centers. Our Facebook information is stored in data centers. Everything is in the data center. And these are important areas where effectively green computing comes into. We need to ensure to it that those data centers which are having possible technology to manage their operations. So specifically what it speaks about is the impact of environment. Large data centers are industrial scale operations, so they use a lot of electricity, they have a lot of emissions, they generate a lot of heat. What do we need to do? So you have power there is required to run the actual equipment, power required to cool the equipment. Because imagine you have a data center where there are multiple hundreds of servers, they're having hundreds of information stored there, and amount of heat they're generating, they need to be cooled, there's amount of power they're consuming, because all our information is stored in those data centers.
If you are certified once in Java, you get into some IT industry, and based on your certification and all, then don't think that every time when your appraisal is there, they will consider your same certification. You need to upgrade yourself. Whatever you are working on, you need to do some professional certification in that particular field, so that again it should differentiate you at the time of appraisal. Then again that would be benefited for you. So there are many more other advantages also. And on the same topic, like my other friends are here, like we are going to discuss it, like how it will be important at your level. So maybe I request Gama and you.
First of all, I wanted all of you to tell me which are the streams that interest you. He talked about Microsoft, SAP, right? So what are the things that interest you? Every one of you must take some time and think that which is the stream that interests you. Right? One can be Microsoft. Everybody with me? Microsoft, Java that we talked about. Second can be SAP, ERP systems. Right? Third can be DBA, database administrators. Probably Oracle database administrators are the most in demand. So let's consider it as Oracle DBA. Fourth can be testing. Anybody knows about testing? Testing itself is a career today. There's so many people doing testing, and automated testing is again a very niche skill. Anything fifth, like anything like business architects or tech architects people. So that kind of. So considering there are 5 or 6 streams, I would invite Sachin. In each stream you would find various kind of certifications today, right? So if we come to ERP, then probably there's an SAP certification, which is obviously very expensive, but it's there given by SAP themselves. If we come to Microsoft, then
Java is there.
Java.
Java itself has a own stream of certificates,
Yes.
level by level.
Yeah. So today you all must be learning Java. You know Java a little bit. So the certifications also come in various forms, and they come with a price tag, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Then again in Oracle we have Oracle DBS certification, Oracle certified application developer certification, different kind of levels. Now, and we said testing.
Testing, we have ISTQB is there.
Correct.
And a couple
ISTQB
of
is an
more
exam.
in the institutes itself they are giving the certification.
Correct.
But the ISTQB is one of the standard. That is
Correct.
international or national level accepted.
Yeah. And ISTQB is actually just an exam that you have to go to study, self-study and appear. And then I said testing is okay. The architects, there is a very niche skill kind of certification, and architects is a stream that you can pursue after being developer for some year. So let's keep architect little aside, okay? So now, now you've got so many streams in front of you. So what you will take to decide which stream you want to take? That's what we want to discuss now. What should be your criteria, right? So first is cost. I know your mom and dad must have got loads of money, but how much to spend on certification is also a criteria to decide. Second is how much time you have, right? You're studying today, you're probably spending your whole day here, right? So you should be doing justice to that certification. So how much time you have. And then your career plan. Whether you are planning to work immediately after MCA, or you plan to really take a break only to do certification, right?
I will add one more thing, the approach.
The approach.
Because that is quite important, because if you can do just tons of certification, because nowadays if you have money and you can go to any institute, there are most of the dumps are given online. So you want to do SCJP, within a month you can be SCJP certified, which has a value on the paper. But in interview, if you are not able to answer at least 5-6 typical questions, the person will then get a bad impression that how he got SCJP certified. So that approach is also important. So these are the 4 or 5 factors.
PMP certification is also like that. Many people come and ask me, I am PMP certified since 2004 and I have been recertified again till 2015. Many people come and ask me, shall I go for PMP certification? No, because PMP certification mandates you that you have 3 years of project management experience. Now you guys are in the study mode, you can always study the PMBOK and give the exam and maybe pass. You may not have actual project management experience, but that doesn't add any value. Then you think that you just got that certification, right? Just by testing those 1300 questions. So are you all with me? Yeah? We need to think how much money it costs. So let's come to expensive certification like SAP is really expensive.
I would like to thank all the speakers over the day, starting from Mr. Sunil, Mr. Shailendra, Mrs. Damayanti, Mr. Chandrasekhan, all from Capgemini, Mr. Kaushik Rajgopalan, and Mr. Sachin Acharya for today's event. I would also like to thank the office staff for their support in conduct of this event. A big thank you goes to the faculty coordinators of the event, Professor Neha Chopde and Professor Shilpa Deshmukh, and the other members of the department. The student volunteers, of course, without whose relentless efforts this function would have not been possible, and of course all the student and audience. Thank you.
We would like to thank our media partners, ETM, that is Elephant Trunk Movies, which is a production house and India's first full-fledged online channel. So hereby we personally thank ETM for their support and their precious time. The entire coverage of IITLEC 2K14 will be released within a week's time on www.etmonlinechannel.com.